every generation believes that they grew up in the best of times. The 40s and 50s were years that felt very modern, but were quite low-tech compared to the years since, when we began the exploration of outer space. My mother's household tasks were considerably easier. She no longer needed to use a washboard or wringer washing machine to do the laundry. Hanging clothes outside on the line became a choice. An electric dryer was faster and a lot easier, especially in the cold weather. She could cook meals on an electric stove instead of using a wood-burning one. I remember that we had a small ice box in the back hall, and the iceman would deliver blocks of ice, carrying them into the house with huge tongs. Down the street from our house was the ice house. It held a huge blocks of ice, and in the summer we were allowed to bring our watermelons and place them inside to cool them. We carved our initials into the skin of the melon so that we could reclaim it later. When I was about 8 years old, we got our first electric refrigerator. Our entertainment in the evening was the radio. I remember sitting on the floor, listening to the tales of the Scarlet Pimpernel. It was based on an adventure novel by the Baroness Emma Orsi. The book is set during the years of the Reign of Terror following the start of the French Revolution. The Scarlet Pimpernel is a name used by a wealthy Englishman. He has a group of followers, and they help people escape death from the guillotine. We seek him there, we seek him here. Those Frenchies seek him everywhere. Is he in heaven? Is he in hell? That damned elusive Pimpernel. These were the lines that were used at the opening of the show. Another favorite show of mine was Baby Snooks. She was an imp who could drive her father to distraction with her antics and mischief. The voice of Snooks was done by a vaudeville actress. You might know her from the movie Funny Girl. Her name was Fanny Bryce. It was my junior year of high school that we got our first television set. Bonanza, Gunsmoke, Wagon Train, Perry Mason, and the Armstrong Circle Theater were some of the favorites in our home. Perry Como and Dean Martin were tenors who had their own variety shows. And there were the movies. Often there were double features with a cartoon. I saw a lot of that remained still vivid in my memory. Most of the musicals had music of Rodgers and Hammerstein, such as Oklahoma, The King and I, and Guys and Dolls. Some of my favorite actresses were Audrey Hepburn, Deborah Carr, and Gene Simmons. A heartthrob of 1955 who only made 3 movies was James Dean. He tragically died in a head-on collision the same year as his movies were released. There was one telephone in the house. We picked up the handset and gave the operator a number such as Ivanhoe 6, 4872. Eventually, we had a rotary dial. Our social media connections were found in the backyard and on the street. We left home in the morning, played with our friends all day, and came home for supper. We played Red Rover, Simon Says, rode our bikes, and waded in a nearby stream. Glorious days. I have come from the tall mountains where the place called morning lies. I have seen the glow of sunshine steal across the quiet skies. We have doubts about the morning when our hearts are black with sin. It's hard to see the break of day when we have no love within. There can really be a morning. It is born within our soul, and it will come to each of us when loving is our goal. I hope you enjoyed my trip down memory lane, and that we'll join us again soon for another edition of This and That.